and it is my joy and honor and privilege to be here in this place called Grace Church, Margao, in their hall. And at the beginning of this small presentation, I want to express my gratitude to the parish priest, Father Jose A. Rodriguez, the parish priest of this church. And I would at the beginning would wish that he comes here, takes the mic, and just gives a short message before we get started with the presentation. Father Jose, yeah.
This is Father Jose, well known as Father Joe Rodriguez. I'm the parish priest of Grace Church. And it is my honor, I would say, and I take great pride in organizing this exhibition, Heaven, Hell, and Purgatory. Especially the Purgatory part. We always think our responsibility for those who are dead and gone is to give the month's mind, first death anniversary mass, second death anniversary mass, and third death anniversary mass. That's it. Our responsibility is over. No. Those who are dead and gone, they require our prayers. Because in 1 Timothy 2:4, we find it is the will of God that each and every one should be saved. Devakzai, zone eklo, devache moran paulolo, taka sudon midleli. Each and every one to be saved and to experience this fellowship with God. Those of us who die with venial sin and those who make the option for God, the moment they are dead, God is ever ready to embrace them. The only difficulty is our sin. And for this, to get purified, we have what we call purgatory. And for those in the purgatory, we need to pray for them, offer masses, sacrifices, so that God may release the soul, purify them, and to experience the joy of heaven. I hope this exhibition that we had today will have a good impact on our people. Not only having masses till the death anniversary, but every day, even to pray the novenas, month-long novenas, for the release of our relatives who are gone before us, so that once they are in the arms of God, they will pray and ask for abundant blessings from God.
Thank you very much, Father, for all your support and all the appreciation and encouragement received from you and your parishioners over here. It was really a wonderful place to be in, especially in the morning. The response was just overwhelming. So with this having said, I go to the exhibition proper. Those of you who are come, you can just be there and just watch as the exhibition is being unfolded. So I'm turning the camera and I'm going over there.
I want to make a special mention for our brother Milagres. He has meticulously arranged this exhibition and he takes utmost care to explain each and everything about this exhibition very meticulously. For all his work and all his good people who are here to organize this, I invoke God's blessing upon them and their families. Thank you, Milagres.
Thank you, Father. Thank you so much. Okay, my friends, those of you who are watching in person, please turn your, you may stand up and turn this side as I am explaining. And all those who are watching this exhibition, especially from the Philippines, Malaysia, from different countries, even in the US and Rome, thank you for tuning in because we are just about to begin with the exhibition proper. So we have seen that people get their message on the newspaper advertisement, in parish bulletin, Lord, I'm coming home. And there's a lovely picture of the person and a nice eulogy, a nice message, or say 3 years or 4 years, 5 years, 7 years with the Lord, or Mom, you are such a wonderful mom, see you in heaven. And people presume that their departed are in heaven. This exhibition is intended to be an eye-opener for our presumptions, whether we are right in presuming our departed people are in heaven. Or I can also put it this way, whether we are right in presuming that we are heading towards heaven. So this is based on the Catechism of the Catholic Church, and the articles are mentioned over here. There are 4 posters for 4 or 5 posters for the heaven category, about 4 for hell, and the remaining are for purgatory, and you will come to know the reason why those posters are more. Okay, so here's the first one. Article 1023 of the Catechism of the Catholic Church speaks about heaven. What is heaven? Heaven is a place for those who die in God's grace and friendship with God and are perfectly purified to live forever with Christ. So you have to die in God's grace, you have to be perfectly, you have to have friendship with God, and you have to be perfectly purified. So if we think about grace, what is God's grace, or what is full of grace? Grace in the Catechism refers to favor. Hail, favored one, or Hail Mary, full of grace. So Mother Mary was filled with grace, full of grace. And so she is experiencing heaven on earth. Now, was she a friend of God? Yes, she gave birth to the Son of God. Was she perfectly pure? The Catholic Church believes that Mother Mary died without a sin. She was conceived without sin and she died without sin. That person who was full of grace, friendship with God, did not have any imperfections, has gone to God, body and soul. But what about our own parents, our own siblings who have died? Were they having so much of grace that their life was filled with love of God and friendship? These are the type of questions we have to ask ourselves. For one, what is the meaning of friendship? What is the meaning of friendship? Friendship means you know the person, you visit the person, you meet the person, and you exchange gifts. You are conscious of his or her birthday, what is important for that person, and you greet each other, and there's a constant connection between your friend and you. Now, people have been so absent at church. There are some people who have not gone for a single confession in donkey's years. There are people who have not even come for Christmas. There are people who have not even come for Easter. Now the person dies, and there is a eulogy, or there is a message, Lord, I'm coming home. The earthly home was never visited. That man never went for a single mass. So what is the basis to say that I'm coming home? Where is the friendship? So if the earthly friendship with the Lord was never there, on what basis do we conclude that my mother, my father, my brother, or for that matter, I am heading to heaven? When I have absolutely no idea who the author of heaven or who the owner of heaven is, when I have never read one single line of his life in the Bible. So you see, people are doing presumption that heaven is a nice place, which it is, as the Catechism explains, but they have no linkages to heaven whatsoever by virtue of the type of life they live. I would request you to come a little bit further this side. Is the painting from the Sistine Chapel Michelangelo, the Renaissance painting, and this is called The Last Judgment. There's a huge painting there. And there are the three groups there. This is Jesus Christ, resurrected, Mother Mary with him, and all the saints who have gone. Perhaps it may be Saint Peter or all the saints, you know. Then there are these who are rising from here, from their rising. You can see that they are helped. These are the beings, these are the souls of the people in purgatory. And who are these? Who are these? You see, this man is transporting people on a boat, and he is hitting them with the oar. And some of them are tied, and there is fire here, and there is the devil here. What is this? This is hell. So this is the last judgment by Michelangelo. So now, to be with the most Holy Trinity, to be in the communion with God, with love and with life and love, to be with Mary, the angels and the saints, is to be in heaven. And who goes to heaven? Only the holy and the perfectly pure. Have you ever seen or heard anybody saying, I will offer a mass for the soul of Saint Francis Xavier? Have you ever seen people offering masses for Saint Padre Pio? Why not? Because we believe that they are already purified, they are friends of God, and they died serving God. So they belong to the communion of saints. They belong to the communion of saints. About them and of them, we can say they are in heaven. But my mother, my father, my brother, my sibling, my uncle, my aunt, or a lot of people who had no connection whatsoever to a spiritual life, we presume by default they are in heaven. And as Father beautifully said, we give a month's mind, we give a year's mass, and a second year mass, and third year mass, and this is all our job about our relatives is done. I assure you, by the time I finish my presentation, you will start thinking differently. That's my guarantee. I say it on the basis of the way the whole morning has gone. I have come here at 5 o'clock in the morning, and believe me, till now, I've just been talking apart from the time. People would just get mesmerized. They just cannot imagine how much of harm or shortcoming they have in their life towards their duty in their duty towards the one they have lost. Okay, so coming to the next, these are the paintings done by the pro-life children, the infants in our group. We have an infants group, and they draw, and at short notice they just draw, and we just put it up. Okay, now we have to die serving God. How do we serve God? We serve God through the neighbor. Now imagine one person was always sitting in a bar. He was always talking bad words. You never saw him come to church, never help somebody. On the contrary, he or she was robbing or doing something. Because that person was living like that, it doesn't mean that he will go to hell. Maybe before dying, he made a change. We do not know. But, you know, our logic and conclusions always will say that when a good person dies, people speak good. It is also true, when a bad person dies, people will speak bad. So it is very, very clear where a particular person is. Okay, let's wait further and see how the things move further. Now you come this side, and that's the last poster on heaven, about heaven. We need to die as friends of God, full of grace, and with that we stop about the heaven. Now we go to the another poster which speaks about what is the step to go to heaven. Saint Rose of Lima says, apart from the cross, you have no other way, no other ladder to go to heaven. What is the cross? Sometimes for a wife, the husband is a cross. Sometimes for the mother, the children are a cross. Sometimes for the children, parents are a cross. Sometimes in-laws are the cross. So, to each person is given a cross. And that cross is your ladder to heaven. Many people don't lift their crosses. Many people don't talk to their own spouses, to their own children, to their own parents with love and affection. That means the cross is not touched. then on what basis are we going to deduct that I'm in heaven? Heaven is a place for those who have lifted up their crosses. There is one author who says, when you knock on heaven's door, the Lord will say, show me your hands. And the person says, my hands? Yeah, look here. Hey, there are no nail marks on your hands. There are no nail marks. Here who comes? Only those people whose hands look like my son's hands. My son has nail marks. You don't have any nail marks. That means you never lifted the cross. You never allowed anybody to crucify you, or rather you crucified others. But we deduct that person is in heaven who never lifted up the cross. How can you go to heaven without lifting the cross? Now, on the section to hell, again there are just 4 or 5 posters, because the largest section over here is Purgatory, which is the reason why this program is here. So, who goes to hell? Or rather, what is hell? According to the Catechism of the Catholic Church, article number 1035 in the Catechism of the Catholic Church, it is the chief punishment of eternal separation from God. What is hell? Hell is an eternal separation from God. You feel so beaten, so traumatized, so pained, excuse me, with the type of life you have lived, because soon after death you come to know what type of place is waiting for you or where you fit. Tonight at 8 o'clock we are going to have Google Meet, where a person who died and went to hell and came back to life is going to speak. He's going to speak from the US. His name is Ed Jossa. He was a commercial pilot who died in a crash. He did not die in a plane crash. He died in a car accident. And in that accident, he saw his own body. He could see his own self. I have it straight on my cell phone, just right on top, because that's what I was explaining. And I will not remove my mobile now, okay? But if you have YouTube, please click and type there Ed, short form for Edward, Jossa, Jozzsa, the man who died in a car crash. And you will find what happened to him. He says he died and he started experiencing a dark tunnel. He started experiencing coldness. And within seconds, he was so aghast with what was happening. And he heard a voice. And he was given a small room. And he said, what is this? And the voice said, what do you think it is? And it was hell. And he started seeing his whole entire life in those, in that time. The whole knowledge of what he had done in entire life till the time that he died, he could see it and he could understand what the choices he had made. Needless to say, he prayed that I be released. And I don't know how he came back. He became alive and a surgery was done for him to recover. Not one. He was told, if you want to be normal, 23 surgeries, out of which in the last 2 years or 3 years, I do not know, he did 18 surgeries. And he says, the surgeries I have gone through or any suffering I have gone through is nothing in comparison to the pains of separation from God. It's nothing. He says, I really feel the trouble that any person can have on earth, no matter how painful, is insignificant to what is hell like. And how long he was there in hell? Few minutes or few seconds, But he says it looked like an eternity. It looked like maybe I was there for a year. Please, tonight, join on Google Meet and listen to this person. Our Google Meet is at 8 o'clock, 8 to 8:30, a person is speaking from Goa. From 8:30 to 9, that person will speak from the US, and from 9 to 9:30, another one from Bangalore. That is, yeah. So, as of now, let us come to this conclusion that hell means separation from God. You feel totally lonely and traumatized. But basically, what are the conditions or under what situation people go to hell? Turn over your head. You may want to stand, those of you who are watching. Turn over your head and look at this poster. You can come closer. Okay, see. Catechism 1033 says that you cannot be united to God. You cannot be united to God unless you freely choose to love Him. And you cannot be united to God if you sin against God and your neighbor. Anybody who hates is in death. A murderer has no life in him. So when we live in hatred, we are living a life of hell. At that rate, there is so much of enmity even among spouses. There is so much of enmity in in-laws and daughter-in-laws and mother-in-law, son-in-law, whatever. There is enmity between siblings. There is enmity with the neighbor. God is not telling us who is right and who is wrong. That is not the point. Check, H. Check. I think he stemmed the wire. The cable, he went, yeah, okay, all right. Sorry about that. Children, please do not cross the line. There are wires there. Yeah. So, sorry about that. My dear friends, we have so much of enmity among siblings, among neighbors. The point is not how wrong your neighbor is. That's not the point. You may be 100% right. Even that is not the point. The point is, do you love? Do you forgive? Or are you living in hate? That is the whole thing. Not how bad the enemy is. The question is, have you loved? Have you loved? Have you accepted? That at that rate, there wouldn't be divorces. At that rate, there wouldn't be so many things. It is one thing to defend yourself, but totally another thing to hate somebody. The one who hates can never see God because God is love. Move to this poster. If you cannot love the person that you see, you cannot love the God that you cannot see. 1 John 4 verse 20. The Epistle of John. Please turn around this side. And from here, we will start with the main section of the retreat called Purgatory. Now, what is Purgatory? Purgatory is a place which is reserved for those who die in grace. They are very holy people when they died. They died in grace. They died with friendship with God, and they had they did not have any disgrace. But why are they in purgatory? After having served the neighbor, after having loved the neighbor, after having loved God, after having loved the neighbor, and after all the grace, why are they in purgatory? They are in purgatory because they had imperfection. Have you ever heard the word perfect? Suppose you bake a cake. You get a compliment, perfect. Okay, you put up a show, or you put up musical piece, or you do gardening, and if that gardening or the musical show, whatever you cook, bake or stitch looks nice, what do people say? Perfect. That means no mistake. No mistake. That's the standard we use. Now, let us say, I say to my wife, hey, I don't like this. What is this? And I forgot about it. I die. I may die with full communion, no mortal sin. I may die with serving the Lord, but for that little thing, I will still be in purgatory. Why? Because God is perfect, and that is imperfection. Please open Matthew chapter 5. Matthew chapter 5, 21 to 27. You know what is written? You had heard that it was said, kill your neighbor, that's terrible. But I say to you, if you are angry with your brother, if you say, you fool, you will be in hell. You fool. Why not? When we get irritated, when we are kind of stressed up, we just 5 words left, right and center, not knowing that that is actual purgatory on earth. And there is a purgatory after we die. So these are called imperfection. But what is perfect love? In perfect love, you get the pain, but you forgive. Why? Because you are sent to God, by God to love. I just came from a mass because I didn't at God mass. There were, I don't know how many masses from 6 o'clock in the morning over here. I did not get a single moment where I could go for mass because continuously people were coming. But I went for somebody's nuptial mass. We were the only people not dressed for the mass, me and my friend. But we attended. We got a communion and everything. But in that mass, It pains me to see the state of our nuptials. Forget, I'm not talking about the dress. People are not even conscious about the blessing. You are given a blessing to love that husband, to love that wife, no matter what he does or what she does, for an eternity. For an eternity. And we are exchanging the beautiful gems, the beauty that God is giving for a good dress and a good show in the hall later. We are not conscious about the real treasure that is poured out on us. So for imperfections, you go to purgatory. But is purgatory that simple? Please follow this side. You can turn this side and come over here. Please come over here. As I feel very natural talking to an audience than looking at the camera. Okay? So yeah, you can go from that side. Now, why are you purified? You are purified for certain lesser fault. Certain lesser fault. Some lesser fault. The opposite is called grave fault. Serious matter. Grave fault, you know. So for little faults, you are in purgatory. And what do people experience in purgatory? People experience so much of burning of their soul. There was a man called Lazarus and a rich man. Okay, the rich man did not have a name, but the poor man was called Lazarus. And Lazarus went to heaven, and the rich man went to hell. Do you know what he said to Father Abraham? Father Abraham, send Lazarus to me to put water on my tongue. Why? Because he was burning. Because he was burning. And he said, sorry, he can't come this side, neither can you go that side. He said, then please, I don't want any of my brothers to come over here because they are living the same type of life. He said, they have the law. They have Moses, they have the prophets. If they are not paying attention to Moses and the prophets, they are not going to pay attention to anybody who goes from the dead into the world. No, they will not pay attention. So at that rate, we have the law, we have the prophets, we have the retreats, and if we are not paying attention, that means we are also heading somewhere terrible. So they say it pains Mother Mary a lot to see that people are in purgatory. St. Paul of the Cross says, if you are kind to the holy souls of purgatory, that they are suffering and you're doing something, you're being kind to them, then when you die, God will not deny you the help after your death. So what is the help that we can give to the souls in purgatory? What is the help? Now you know that they cannot do anything for themselves. Their time of doing something for themselves was on the earth. After that, they can't do anything for themselves. So what is the help that we can give? We give them help in various ways. Number one, for the Mass. In the liturgy of the Mass, you will find this word. For all those who died in your friendship. For those who died in your friendship. In Konkani, Tujia Istagodin Morongelle Sogle Somestang. Now, we know that our relatives were not at all in the relationship with God. But even then, we can still pray, Lord, have mercy on their soul. They get a little better. We pray for them in the Mass. We offer them acts of charity, like a help. Like a help. For the holy souls, yeah, in charity. There's this particular man, it is there on that book, Novena for releasing your friends and relatives from purgatory. Yesterday's reflection, or day before yesterday's reflection, there's this lady who was super rich, but something happened and she lost all her fortune. She was feeling terrible. She went and told her pain to a priest. The priest saw that she attended 10 masses. There must have been some program in the parish. And he said, look, you already have merit. You have an indulgence. You have a grace, which can be offered to the souls in purgatory. You do one thing. You tell, go and tell one banker, you tell that I have sent you to one person and tell him, look, parish priest has sent me to you to tell you that I'm offering the merits of my indulgences for you. And that man just laughed. So she brought it on a piece of paper. So he's saying, so now what are you expecting me? She said, no, I'm just came. But he knows that she is expecting something from him, some monetary thing. He said, okay, if you're wanting something, I can help you. But let's put it in a scale. So there was a scale brought. He said, you put your indulgences written on a piece of paper on this side, and I will try to match it with equal amount of currency so that both weight. So he put one coin. Coin is heavier than paper. The paper was down. He put 2 coins. The paper was down. He put lot of coins. Paper was down. At the end, he started putting so much money that only when he reached putting that platter with the amount of money she had lost, did the paper go up. In other words, she went for mass, 10 masses, and the merit of this 10 masses was equal to all her loss. Can you just imagine? And mass is happening every day. And how many people go for mass? How many people don't even skip mass on Sunday? We have no idea what we are doing to our soul, and especially to the souls in purgatory. Let me tell you that not that I was not offering masses for the dead, but as such, honestly I tell you, only after I met this man, this friend, I started offering masses for the holy souls of purgatory. But ever since I started working on this exhibition, things were happening phenomenally for me. Really, believe me. I can't tell you sufficiently for lack of time, but it really works. I didn't offer masses for the holy souls of purgatory just like that, that I may get something. And we have in our own, from my wife's side or my side, own relatives for whom we want to pray. But we offered, and it really works. So, please help the poor people. Do something needful, because Jesus is in Matthew chapter 25. Whatsoever you do to the least of my brothers, that you do unto me. Whatever that you don't do for the least of my brothers, that you didn't do unto me. Please turn aside. These are some Konkani prayers sent by my friend. They are there on the book over there. Okay. This is how you can release the souls from purgatory, whatever prayers, how you can heal your family tree. And these are there in English as well as in Konkani. Please do come to this poster. Padre Pio believes that with prayers we can empty purgatory. And one fine day purgatory will be empty, but never hell. Please go to YouTube and type the exorcism of Anneliese Michel. You know, she's a German girl who got possessed at the age of 17 and died at the age of 28 or something like that. And she got possessed by 7 people: Lucifer, Nero, Cain, Adolf Hitler, Judas Iscariot, and 2 more people. And all of them speak through her. It's awful. You can't hear it. Full of hatred for God. So if anybody ever tells you that Judas is in heaven, don't believe. Because Judas is not in heaven. He is already in hell. Because Jesus himself said, if Jesus said on the earth, woe to the one who betrays the Son of Man, he cannot change his words later. Yeah? Judas is not in heaven. He is in hell. And he will forever, ever be in hell. All those people who are in hell, they will never, ever get out of it. Having said that, suppose you have a relative who lived a very evil life. Don't despair. Why? Because even the mass is offered for a very sinful person, they still make his hell bearable. The merits of those masses still go to that person. So no matter, I know you look in your village, how many people were living sinful lives. Think about them. They may be no one of yours, but still offer a mass. And according to Saint Paul of the Cross, on the day that you died, you will have that many friends in heaven to welcome you. You know. So, regarding the temptations, Jesus says, it is much better you say no to your temptation, but he uses the terminology, if your eye causes you to sin, if your hands causes you to sin, cut the eye, cut the hand. Definitely Jesus is not talking about plucking an eye, but he's talking about what leads you to temptation. You put a full stop to it. Otherwise, with both the eyes and both the hands, you will go to the quenching the fire which can never be quenched. You notice here the word, the fire is not quenched. The fires of hell is not quenched. The fires of purgatory will come to an end, but the fire of hell will never come to an end. Please move to this side. Please move to this side. Because of the type of retreats that I preach and the counseling that I know, I realize that a lot of people have issues with forgiveness. Sometimes a husband may not forgive his wife, or vice versa. Parents may not be able to forgive their children. But please do forgive, because if you don't forgive, your life is a living purgatory or a living hell. Because it is saying, we condemn ourselves on our own words. Forgive me as I forgive others. So if you want to be forgiven, forgive. Forgiveness is not easy, but that is the only choice we have if we want to go to heaven. It is the only choice. So whilst doing your cooking, running to work, cleaning, washing, mopping, reading, writing, gardening, please remember the devil is prowling as a roaring lion, hoping to devour somebody's soul. So we have to be mindful that the devil is prowling. When a person is dying, please come this side. When a person is dying, the person is prayed for if he or she is blessed to have the extreme unction. And it is here the words said to the dying person are, may you return to your Creator who formed you from the dust. May you be with Mother Mary and the angels and the saints. May they come to meet you, and may you go forth from this life, and may you see your Redeemer face to face. There was once a retreat I was preaching out of Goa, and not our language, somebody was translating. At 9 o'clock, the parish priest got a call for extreme unction. I told the father, it's my nature to pray for dying people. Would you like to take me? He said, come. So we went there, and it was like an 84-year-old lady, completely dead, like, except that her breathing was very feeble. You know, after a long time, she was taking one deep breath, and the life was going out. So Father gave the extreme unction, and I felt that she's in sin. This is my personal, relationship with God. I hope I'm right. I went and told the priest, I want to say something to her. And do I have the permission of you and of the family? The priest told, this brother is wanting to tell something to the dying lady. Can he say? So I went there with their permission, and I told her, you can't go to meet God with anger of XYZ person. I gave the name in her ear. She opened her eyes, and people were shocked, because she's been lying there for so many days. And I said, look, and I'm praying to God, I hope that person is not here, because then you have to be so careful not to expose the errors of people in public. I don't know who that person is, but thankfully I told her in her ears. She opened. I said, you say I forgive you. You say I forgive you. And after she did that, and I say, you do the sign of the cross. That lady whose hands were tied like this, literally, because she's dead, as good as dead, okay? She moved her hands, she did the sign of the cross, and she was clapping and praising God. Whole blood flowed, and we reached home. It was like 15 minutes drive from the house to the parish. By the time we reached home, she died. And I feel so honored to be a part of this person. To this person's life. I'll give you another example. Many people know that I like to pray for dying people. Nowadays, I only send WhatsApp audio prayers. Anyway, so this particular nun, she called me and she said, my father is dying, he's 90 years old. For 1 year, he's on the bed with bad sores. Please pray that God may, like how we say in Konkani, Kakut Korum, like God may have mercy. How much of suffering for him? I don't do prayers like that. We can't do prayers like that. No, his time has to come. Anyway, I said, sister, you do one thing. It's telephonic. Can you give the phone to him? I said, okay. So he said, hello, uncle. He said, hello. Okay. I said, give your phone to your daughter. I don't know how this works. I don't know. I never asked God how it works. I told the sister, his daughter, your father will not die for an year. And everybody is hearing because it's on loudspeaker, and everybody is saying, what, like 1 year? They cannot bear taking care of a 90-year-old man. I said, what? He has a son, and I have no idea who he has. And this son is not come for 30 years. That son must return, and he must say sorry to his dad, and then he will die. And at that time, they started thinking, because nobody knows where the son is. Because when he got married 30 years back, father was 60. So this man, elderly people, they tend to say something. He said something to the daughter-in-law. She became very angry, picked up her husband, and both left. Until today, until that day, They don't know whether they are dead or alive, whether they have children, whether they are surviving or they are dead and gone. Now, how to look? After 30 years, they are searching their the lost son. It took them exactly 1 year to find. He came back. He saw he's dead, and he felt so sorry. And he said, "Dad, I'm so sorry." And the father said, "I'm so sorry, son." And he died. Can you just imagine if he had died without that reconciliation, he would be in the fires of purgatory, God knows how long. So I am so grateful that I am part of somebody's life in helping people make peace with God and with each other. So my dear friends, purgatory is a place that can be made empty if we have some type of place in our heart. Start with your own mother and father who have died, with your own sibling. Don't assume that they are in heaven 7 years with the Lord, 10 years with the Lord. Oh no. First we have to ask ourselves what type of life that person was living. Of course, we don't judge anyone, including even those who committed suicide. Because one lady went to St. John Mary Vianney and said, Father, my husband committed suicide. He was an atheist. He was never coming to church. He is in hell. And Father John Mary Vianney, he was like mystic. He was a very pious person. He would only eat baked potato and bread made of wheat flour. Simple. That was his food. He was like a person who was really fasting so much. And he had that vision. He had a certain privilege with God. He asked God, where is this man? And God showed him, he's in purgatory. She said, your husband is not in hell. He's in purgatory. Because Father could see him dying. He saw him jumping from the bridge into the river. And between the jump and the river, he's making his prayer. He's saying to God, I made a mistake. Please save my soul. And God saved his soul. Two men went to prostitutes. Only one man returned. Only one man returned. He doesn't know where is his friend. And he went to sleep. He's hoping that, bad thing. He went to prostitute. These people were terrible. So on the return journey, only one person came. He's waiting, and he went to sleep. At 2:30 in the night, somebody knocked. He opened the door. Go to see a very dirty looking beggar came, full of, stinking. He said, who are you? He said, what is this? You don't recognize your friend? My friend? Come on, man. We both went to the prostitutes just a few hours back. He said, how can it be you? He said, this is my soul. My body died. Actually, both of us were supposed to die today because our life was filled with sin. But you know what? Who saved you? The Holy Virgin. Bad as you are, occasionally, Tsukon, you are saying Hail Mary. And in Hail Mary, there is that word. Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for us sinners, now and at the hour of our death. Amen. He got saved for one Hail Mary. Do you realize how important it is to have the rosary in the house? You're saying occasionally, somewhere the conscience will tell him, what I'm doing, I'll call to Mother Mary. So please do not despair the salvation of your relatives if they were atheists, if they were, especially people who were drinking, people who were wife battering, people who were fighting, people who were witchcraft and all. Don't despair. Please pray for their soul, because only your prayers and our prayers can save them now. On their own, they cannot say anything to them. They can't do anything for their own soul. So coming over here, it is, like some people, they live forever in depression. They're saying, no, my problems are so much that heaven cannot help. Saint Thomas More is saying, there is no sorrow on earth which heaven cannot heal. Everybody has a healing. The thing is, are we trying sufficiently? We may go for retreats, wonderful. We may do novenas, wonderful. But there is one means which is available to us. You pray to the souls in purgatory. Why? Because they are in a state of blessedness. Not pure blessedness, at least semi-blessedness. And they are efficacious. Their prayers are efficacious. My good friend, who because of whom this retreat, this exhibition got initiated, has plenty of literature over there. None of the things on this table belong to me or us, except maybe my daughter has done some cards or something like that. But there are really wonderful resources over there. So if you want to empty purgatory, attend Mass, do acts of charity, do prayer, do fasting, do ejaculations, like Jesus, I trust in you. Do work for plenary indulgences. So from 1st of November to 8th of November, if you start going to the cemetery and do one of Father, one Hail Mary, recite some 130 and pray for the souls of you get indulgences sometimes for 365 days, and there are some novenas and prayers we can get 3,000 days of indulgences. Remember that in hell, few seconds look like hundreds of years on earth. Few seconds look like hundreds. Please, I beg of you, take the link for Google Meet tonight and listen to that man who will be talking from the US. So, just about to conclude, you have to serve. Just don't be nice to your husband and wife, to your mother, to your son, your dog, your cat, and your house, and your car. Do some service. Go work out. I know this particular lady, she's from the island. She's from Ireland, and she goes out in the open and do public rallies. She has gone to jail 3 times. For what? For telling people not to do an abortion. Now in the UK, if you stand near an abortion center and you're doing nothing, there's no rosary in the hand, but you're just holding hand, they can ask you a question, are you praying? And if you say, yes, I'm praying, you are in jail. According to the law, you can't even pray in your head. That's called thought crime. The laws are changing. Please become aware how the world is changing. Thought crime. That person could have said, no, I'm not praying, but he didn't want to lie. So he said, yes, I'm praying, and he went to jail. Of course, he got out, but the sentence is, what we call as bail and all that. It's still, cases are still going on for praying inwardly near an abortion center. But I know Bernadette Smith, I met her in person. She's gone to jail 3 times just for doing pro-life work. Okay, here in Goa, we are comfortable. We don't have that type of trouble. Thanks be to God. But sometimes please go out, help some woman who's pregnant financially, maybe invite some poor people in your house for your birthdays and functions, or cook something really good, which you cook for you. Serve some people in good glasses. Yeah, are you understanding? Because we do that discrimination. This is for you and this is for your slave. I went to one house in Chinchini and they served the same drink. That man, that he was feeling hesitant to drink. He said, no, you are a friend of the owners. We are no one. No, but she insisted and I insisted. No, same treatment. So, the heaven is not easy. You saw one poster over here which is saying, take your marriage vow seriously. Now, many people don't take the marriage vow seriously. I told you, I already came from nuptial here. The 3rd question of nuptial vow, will you accept children from the hands of God? People say yes, but they don't know what yes. Accepting children from the hands of God. God is the one who's giving the children. You can't use condoms. You can't use withdrawal. No tubal ligation, no birth control pills. You can't even say, I don't want another child. God will say, why not? You have to give a reason. The reason has to be grave. As in, my wife is psychologically unsound. We are patisir. We have nothing in our home to bring another child. And therefore what? Therefore, I am not having intimacy. Not talking about some method. I am not having intimacy. God will ask you questions against your thinking. Have you taken loans? Do you have a car? How much of trouble are you taking to live life? Do you think that one child would have made you poor? Do you think so? How much money did your grandfather have? What was his education? How many cars he had? What is the type of food he had? And how many children he had? You realize they had 10 children. They did not have education. They had 10 children. We have education, we have health, we have cars, but we have 1 child or 2 children. Why? They had something which we don't have, and we have something which they don't have. We have money, we have education. They did not have money, they did not have education, but they have grace. And in the catechism or in the marriage vow, you are given grace to welcome children. So, if you contracept, if you withdraw, if you do abortion, you know where we are heading. So it's so easy to say, Lord, I'm coming home. No, if you are really loving the Lord, you will know what is His law concerning conjugal relationships. So, please turn this side, which is the second last section. Go read God's word with love. Attend mass with love. देवाचें उतर मोगान वाच, go attend mass with love. Visit the Blessed Sacrament. It is there in your church every day, 24 hours a day. Go at least make a small visit and say to God, Lord, I just came to visit you. Lord, I just came to visit you. Okay? Meet or go through some exorcism, I'm meaning to say, the priests who are doing exorcism and deliverance, read their YouTube videos, read their letters, read their books, then you come to know how to protect your family from the attacks of the devil. Now all these guys, Father Sherry Pocher, Father Vincent Lambert, Father Peter Glass, Father Dan Hill, Father Jim Blount, Monsignor Stephen Tressetti, other type of people that I personally listen to, and they tell you it is so important to go for Mass, to read the Bible, to go for regular confession. Your house, our homes must be having a crucifix or a holy picture in every room. Have the holy water. Have these are not rules, huh? These are not rules that you have to have, but they are efficacious means to keep the house free from evil. Saint Joseph and Saint Michael, the scapular, holy oil, holy incense, blessed candle, blessed salt, and the crucifix, the crucified Christ. Now you look at this statue here. This is called a crucifix. The devil gets scared of this, not the crucified Christ, not the resurrected Christ. He gets scared where Jesus is nailed to the cross, not the glorious cross. He gets scared of Jesus crucified. So this is not called a cross, it's called a crucifix. A cross is two sticks without a statue, without Jesus. But this is a crucifix. And it is so important to have crucifix. Okay? So then I made a small model of this thing. Now, those of you who are watching online and especially from other Asian countries, you may not understand. Can you read what is written over here? Can you see? Ais Maika Falyantuka. You know, today I am dead, tomorrow it will be your turn. Now, me and my daughter, we are doing this at 2 o'clock in the night, you know. This is where you and I will be. Our educational certificates, our cars, our property matters, forget, not even our bones we will carry. What we will, when we are rising from our graves to meet the Lord, what we will carry? Love, forgiveness, good deeds, which we are just not mindful of. Most of the time it is me. Most of the time it is me. It is never you. And so when you put somebody else in front of you and work for his or her happiness, then you are tu ektai tha material swarga rajan orang. My friends, before I conclude this small explanation, I don't know whether it was big, I want to tell you one thing. Please take your earthly life seriously. Visit the Blessed Sacrament, offer masses, go to the Blessed Sacrament, go for Mass regularly. If it's possible, go daily. Fast on Fridays, avoid. Do some sacrifices. Whenever you have any hardship, you just say, Lord, I offer this hardship for the soul of my brother, the soul of my mother, or the souls of the purgatory. One fine day, the benefit of your sacrifice will come back to you. Honestly speaking, it is not so difficult. What is more difficult is to be, missing this opportunity, because God is giving it freely. God is giving it freely. So then people who reject God's grace, when God is giving us the means, after they die, they are the ones who are pushing themselves to hell. Imagine that this is a wedding hall and the people who are married have a good dress. By some way, you could not get a good dress. You feel uncomfortable, so you sit in one corner. But let us say, whilst coming to the hall, some crow, his dropping falls. You feel very dirty. You feel that you don't fit in the company of good people. Same thing, when a person goes after his death, he just cannot see God. because he knows that spiritually he is very dirty. So he walks away from God. That is what people like Cain, Judas Iscariot, Adolf Hitler did. And please watch the exorcism of Anneliese Michel. You can hear the howling from heaven, from hell. She's creeping on the wall. She's eating number one, drinking her own number one, drinking, eating number two, and her nails turned like claws. Okay, why? Because the spirits are there, and hell is not a comfortable place, not even purgatory. So to go to heaven, live as loving people, live as people who believe in God and forgiving people, and whilst you are alive, do something for your soul by praying for the souls in purgatory. So I will have just one more session after this YouTube video is over, but for a record, I want to say a word of gratitude for Father Jose Rodriguez for allowing us to come, my friend Prudence and Diogen, who also helped distributing free literature over here, the JC team for helping us with this video, and for all the volunteers who are everywhere in the pro-life, volunteers who are everywhere, who help financially. Somebody brought meals and snacks and took care of us. Thank you very much. This exhibition is here up till 7 o'clock, and from there, that's it. It was just one-time effort. But if you look at the opinions, people are saying, Father, thank you very much for having brought it. In case you liked it, please leave a comment on the opinion book, and please don't fail to join Google Meet at 8 o'clock. Thank you very much. So signing off, God bless you, all those who are watching from the Philippines, from Malaysia, from London and other places in the world. God bless you. Thank you very much.